Okay, diving right into this stack of sources you've shared with us today, starting with this article from the editorial section about India's strategic energy transformation.
Yeah, and it kicks off by immediately tying India's big economic news.
The whole fourth largest economy thing, $4.3 trillion GDP next year.
Exactly. And being the fastest growing major economy, it connects that directly to what's happening in energy.
So the source isn't seeing these as separate stories.
Not at all. The core argument presented is, well, for India, energy security is development security. They're fundamentally linked.
That makes sense. You can't fuel that kind of growth without a solid energy base.
And the scale of the need is just massive. India is already the third largest energy consumer globally,
Right.
but the projection is demand will grow 2.5 times by 2047.
2.5 times.
Think about it, that's projected to be 25% of all new global energy demand over the next few decades. Just India.
Wow. Okay, so how are they planning to meet that? It can't just be renewables, right?
No, and the source details this. It's a four-pronged approach addressing the energy trilemma, they call it.
Availability, affordability, sustainability.
Precisely. So diversification, boosting domestic production significantly, pushing renewables, and keeping it affordable.
Let's dig into that domestic production part first. The numbers in the article are pretty striking, especially upstream oil and gas.
Yeah, they're talking about doubling the exploration area from 8% of potential to 16%.
Just between 2021 and 2025.
That's the time frame mentioned.
Huh.
And the target is 1 million square kilometers by 2030. The potential unlock is huge. 42 billion tons of hydrocarbons estimated.
Okay, but are those just targets, or is there policy backing it up?
Oh, definitely policy changes. The source points to cutting those restricted no-go areas by 99%.
99%.
Massive change. Plus, the open acreage licensing policy, making bidding easier and more attractive gas pricing incentives. It's about encouraging investment.
And technology, too, right?
Yeah.
Seismic programs, new discoveries.
Yes, the National Seismic Program, ONGC, and Oil India finding new reserves. Even international partnerships like ONGC with BP boosting output. It's multifaceted.
And it's not just finding it, it's getting it to people. The infrastructure build-out sounds immense.
It is. Pipelines. Nearly 96,000 retail outlets. Get this detail from the source. 67 million people visit petrol pumps every day.
That just paints a picture of the sheer scale.
It really does. And the city gas network, too, expanding rapidly, from 55 areas in 2014 to 307 now.
So more homes getting piped gas?
Millions more. P&G connections jump from 2.5 million to 15 million households, plus thousands of CNG stations. Unified tariffs are key for affordability here.
What about the green side? How does that fit in?
It's heavily integrated. Biofuels are a big success story highlighted here. Ethanol blending is up from like 1.5% in 2013 to almost 20% this year.
And that helps with imports and emissions.
Big time. Huge foreign exchange savings mentioned, significant emission reductions. Plus, there's the push for compressed biogas, CBG, with the SATHAT initiative.
Right, aiming for a 5% blend mandate.
And then there's green hydrogen, a massive thrust, the article calls it. Tenders awarded for 3,000 milliW of electrolyzer manufacturing, PSU's leading projects.
And policy keeps adapting, like that Oil Fields Act amendment.
Now, allowing hybrid leases renewables alongside hydrocarbons, recognizing the mix, and simplifying contracts for smaller fields, the DSF policy.
Plus the Gati Shakti initiative for integrating infrastructure digitally.
Exactly. Bringing synergy, cutting costs through better planning. The source cites specific savings.
And it all comes back to the consumer, the affordability piece.
It does. They use the example of subsidized LPG cylinders for PMUI beneficiaries, keeping prices down despite global volatility, and fuel excise cuts.
So the overall picture is one of confidence.
Confidence, self-reliance, strategic foresight. That's the takeaway from the source. Energy as a catalyst for sovereignty and security, not just development.
Okay, let's move on to our next article, also editorial. This shifts focus to defense, specifically India-Australia ties.
Right. And it frames this deepening relationship against a backdrop of potential global shifts, like maybe less certainty around U.S. security guarantees in the Indo-Pacific.
That's an interesting angle. So this uncertainty creates an opportunity for middle powers.
That's the argument. A strategic moment for countries like India and Australia to strengthen their own ties and build, sovereign resilience.
And the alignment seems quite natural. Australia's geography.
Bridging the Indian and Pacific Oceans. It complements India's maritime focus.
And the ADS experience in coalition ops.
Seen as valuable for enabling Indian capabilities. The recent air-to-air refueling deal is a concrete example mentioned.
Plus shared concerns, particularly about China's assertiveness.
Definitely. And a shared vision for regional stability built on their own strengths.
The article mentions bureaucratic muscles. What does that mean exactly?
It refers to the sort of quiet, deep work that's been happening, building institutional links, policy dialogues, regular meetings behind the scenes, less visible, but really important.
So Canberra sees New Delhi as a top-tier security partner because of this groundwork.
That's the idea. It builds trust needed to navigate that potentially shifting landscape.
Mhm.
And there are tangible markers. The CSP in 2020, the 2+2 dialogue since 2021.
The logistics agreement, MLSA.
Right, streamlining support. And all those joint exercises, Osterhind, Osindex, Pitch Black, Malabar, it shows a decade of deliberate effort.
But the source is realistic, too, acknowledges limitations.
Yes, it's clear neither country can just step into a potential U.S. void. India has its own major challenges, the continental predicament, China, Pakistan.
And Australia is doing its own strategic overhaul, AUKUS military reforms.
Exactly. Both have significant internal and regional priorities demanding attention and resources.
So given that, where does the article suggest they focus future efforts? It listed 5 areas.
Right, this is the really interesting forward-looking part. First, rebalancing engagement beyond just Navy to Navy. More complex, joint exercises across all services reflecting real operations. A forum for joint staff talks, aiming for a major joint exercise within a decade. Much deeper integration.
Okay, second, enhancing India's presence in Canberra.
Yeah, upgrading the Defense Advisor post, adding Army Air Force assistance for better balance, and dedicated staff for Pacific Islands engagement.
Third was about ground-up ideas.
Elevating them, involving uniformed professionals more, allowing classified discussions, simple things too, like fellowships, wargaming exchanges, building connections at multiple levels.
Fourth seemed very practical, MRO and patrol boats.
Maintenance, repair, overhaul for naval ships. India has shown capability with the U.S. and U.K. navies. Doing it for Australia builds trust, interoperability.
And the patrol boats.
Jointly providing them for small island states in the region, the source sees these practical steps having wider impacts, tech exposure, operational familiarity.
Finally, defense industry collaboration, especially MSMEs.
Yes, micro, small, and medium enterprises, a perceived missed opportunity. The idea is aligning startups in both countries working on advanced components, dual-use tech.
Kind of like the NDUSX model with the U.S.
Potentially, yes. Leveraging both countries' focus on defense indigenization, building complementary industrial capabilities.
All right, shifting gears completely for the third piece, this one takes us to Taiwan political deadlock and recall campaigns.
Yeah, a really complex situation.
Hmm.
The core issue highlighted is that President Lai Ching-te's party, the DPP, doesn't have a majority in the legislature, the Yuan.
Right, the opposition holds the cards there, KMT, TPP.
Exactly. KMT had 52 seats, DPP 51, DPP 8, plus 2 independents usually siding with the KMT. So the opposition effectively controls the legislative agenda.
And the article says they're using that power to block things.
That's the characterization in the source blocking steps seen as vital for democratic processes and defense preparedness.
Any specific examples given?
Yes, quite a few, like a December 2024 amendment impacting the central government's budget, especially defense spending, and changing tax revenue sharing,
Okay.
and a May 2024 bill trying to force the president to address the yuan and take questions on the spot, something never done before by a sitting president, and it led to actual scuffles.
Wow. So real tension.
Definitely. And procedural disputes, too. The DPP alleging the KMT skipped required steps for amendments, which the KMT denies. Lots of mistrust.
And on top of this legislative friction, there are recall campaigns.
A whole wave of them, targeting 37 KMT lawmakers and 15 from the DPP. The ones against the KMT were initiated by citizen groups, suggesting some grassroots anger.
And those are moving forward.
Many have reached the second stage, needing signatures from 10% of voters in the district. The KMT has also launched counter-recalls against DPP members,
Which became controversial.
due to allegations of forged signatures, even using names of deceased voters, according to the source.
So it's a sign of democratic health, citizens acting, but also extreme volatility.
That's the paradox the source points out. It suggests KMT lawmakers might be losing support despite winning their seats in 2024.
And this is all heightened under President Lai, because it's the first time a DPP president faces a KMT majority yuan.
Correct. And their fundamental difference on China, KMT favoring dialogue, DPP more assertive against reunification, adds another layer. Although the source notes, KMT won seats, partly due to domestic issues under the previous DPP government.
So President Lai has a couple of paths forward, according to the article.
Basically, two options presented. One, try to negotiate, deliberate with the KMT, maybe find common ground on national security to cool the recall fever, or lean into it, support the citizen groups trying to recall KMT members, hoping to win those seats in by-elections and gain a DPP majority that way.
A big gamble either way.
Absolutely, a potentially historic turning point for Taiwanese politics, shaped by this deadlock and citizen recall dynamic.
Okay, final article. Back to India, focusing on urban energy solutions, building integrated photovoltaics, BIPV.
Right. It starts by acknowledging the success of rooftop solar, RTS, about 17 gigawatts installed. Good progress.
But there's always a but.
The challenge is space, especially in cities. Dense urban areas just don't have enough usable, shadow-free rooftop space for traditional panels to make a massive dent.
So BIPV is the next step, integrating solar into the building itself.
Exactly. Facades, windows, railings, roofs, turning the building envelope into a power generator. It serves two functions: electricity generation and structural component, replacing conventional materials.
More expensive up front, I assume.
Initially, yes.
Yeah.
But the idea is long-term savings offset that, and it's versatile, usable in different building types, customizable aesthetically.
Why is this so crucial for India specifically, urbanization?
Massive urbanization. Projections of 600 million urban dwellers by 2031, 850 million by 2051. High-rise cities mean very little rooftop space per person.
The article had an example, right? A 16-story building.
Yeah, maybe 40 kilowatt potential on the roof, but potentially add 50 kilowatt just using BIPV on the south facade. A huge difference.
Yeah. And it's not just big buildings, balconies even.
Right, like in Germany, apparently. For apartment dwellers without roof access, balcony BIPV offers real savings, maybe up to 30% on bills. It taps into unused surfaces.
Is BIPV actually happening in India now?
It's gaining momentum, the source says, driven by falling solar prices and interest in green buildings. There are examples to data centers, museums, industrial sites, even railway stations using it.
But scaling up faces hurdles.
Several. High initial cost is one. Policy gaps, specifically for BIPV. Lack of technical expertise in the industry, reliance on imports, low awareness among architects and developers. Getting it considered early in design is tough.
Okay, so what are the proposed solutions to scale it?
A few key things. Stronger policies and incentives are crucial. Maybe expanding existing schemes like PM Surya Ghar.
The rooftop solar scheme, it already includes BIPV.
Apparently, yes, for residential up to 3 kW with subsidies. The suggestion is maybe higher incentives for BIPV, especially where space is tight, and extending similar support to commercial industrial sectors.
And embedding it in building codes.
Yes. Integrating BIPV provisions into the National Building Code, Energy Conservation Building Code, etc., like Europe has done. Make it standard practice.
What else? Demonstration projects?
Pilot projects in public buildings to increase visibility. Boosting domestic manufacturing with incentives. R&D, awareness campaigns for architects and planners.
And financing models.
Things like the RESCO model, where a third party owns and operates the system, or long-term PPAs to make it financially viable for building owners.
So the bottom line is India needs more than just ground-mounted and rooftop solar.
To meet that 300 GW target by 2030, yes. Land-neutral solutions like BIPV are essential, the source argues.
And the potential is huge, especially with new construction.
Immense. 309 GW potential estimated on existing buildings alone. And with maybe 70% of the urban infrastructure needed by 2047 still to be built.
A massive opportunity to integrate BIPV from the start.
Exactly, but it needs that concerted push policy, innovation, market development to actually realize that potential.
Thank you for listening. You can give suggestions by contacting on Twitter handle given in the episode description. We are always eager to hear what our listeners want to be informed about.